unlock twice and then lock in order to lock the house door. You can shift up and down. I would use the brake instead so you don't ruin your transmission. Stereo will stay on if you leave it on. Extra fuses under there. Fuses there. And fuses under here. The brake has to be pulled up for the slide out to work. The engine does go right around in here. It's never hit red, but if it hits red, I'd slow down a little bit, maybe pull over, let it cool off. Add oil here. The engine will say low or high if it needs to add some or take some out. You can check it here. This is the oil I recommend using. Alright, the awning. The awning can hook in here. You lift this up, put it down, put the feet in, and put this back if you'd like, or it goes straight to the ground. Your water pump's in here. There's a couple different switches. This is where you can add the pink fluid when you're winterizing it. You just turn the pump on and it sucks it out. You got to turn all the different sinks and hoses on and off. You have to turn this in order for it to work. I'm not sure, but if your hot water does not work, you might have to turn this in order for the hot water to go in to the water heater. When you winterize it, you want to pull this plug. I put it back in. Make sure it's nice and snug. That's for your refrigerator. That driver's side, that is where you fill the tank. Here's where it has to be plugged in order for the generator to power the house. You have an outlet here for cable or a portable satellite dish. You can pull this down and put your extension cord through there. You can turn the pump on here, so you can just use this faucet. That turns the pump on. This is where you put fresh water in. This here, fresh water valve, this has to be normal in order for the pump to circulate your water in there. If you have it the other way, the pump will not work. You pull this up and swivel it, and you can put the hose down through. On mine, I had to snip these off and then make it through the hole that's down there. Oh, this one. Generator, you can pull these tabs here, those two tabs. Check the oil in that. The air filter's right here. That's recently changed. Airbags. 60 psi is a good psi for the airbags. Batteries are under there. That switch down there will turn everything off, and it will not allow the batteries to charge if that is off. The switch under here says TV. That will turn the TV on. This powers the TV because it's not 12 volt, it's 120, so that has to be plugged in. This box goes back there to the RCA cables, which make sound come through the speakers over here in the sub. If you want to watch a DVD, you have to put cables in here and run it down through the TV. This has to be on in order for the sound to work. The remotes are back here. There's one for the TV and one for the stereo. That plug is always on. It's connected to the 12 volt battery, so you can charge stuff. This green light has to be on in order to get cable TV or antenna TV. You swivel this all the way up. Once you go up, if you'd like to change the channel or make a little clearer, you can swivel this left or right. Just make sure this is down before you drive away. This here, gas heat and electric heat is the same thing. You kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit to make it turn all the way on to the heat only. AC is above heat or above cooling. The heat comes from the floor. When you're on AC, you can have it on auto, it shuts off, or on, it stays on. Run the fan high or low. I'd recommend in the refrigerator getting a little square leveler. We use that to check the level. That was our best leveling, right in the center of that refrigerator or freezer. That seemed to be a good temperature for us. When it was hotter out, we bumped it up. Super hot when it was like 100 degrees. Keep that on auto, and when you plug in, it will automatically switch. Make sure the metal's out when you use the microwave. Slide out, obviously that says in or out. When you're plugged in, you can use this to heat up the water quicker. This will keep your gray and black water heated down below so it does not freeze in the holding tank. Start your generator. Go ahead and just hold it down until you hear it start. If it takes too long, then give it a second and then restart it. This is your normal hot water heater for your gas. These are your levels. I put some water in there so I could run water through. Obviously battery level and LP gas. This turns on your water. Let's see. I'll make sure this is shut and all the cabinets. If it slams, it will break. Alright, so when you... Let's see, never mind. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting everything for you. I'll show you a few things that you can use. This is really nice and handy. You have to have these in Oregon, I believe, that cannot touch the ground, your sewer pipe. A lot of this stuff on Amazon is a lot cheaper. These here to roll up onto were very nice. I'm not sure the brand, but it's roughly 2 feet long. Got a pretty good height that worked pretty much everywhere we went. This cord here plugs in to the cord that plugs into the generator area. This will allow you to plug in just with a 120 amp. And the RV does sit a little higher, so I'd get a little drop hitch, so you're not pitched too high. I'm sure you know what that is because you pull something along the lines of this here. That one's a little bit of a drop. Maintenance. About once a year, oil change depending on your driving. You could probably go 2 years if you're keeping the engine warm and moping around. The tire pressure, I would get the tire pressure checked every trip, every chance you get, so you don't have a blowout. Brakes should still be in decent condition. Probably shouldn't have to change your rear differential fluid or do any major services with that till about 80,000 miles or so. I believe it's called 202. I stick that on the exterior, make it nice and shiny and avoid the sun. Probably here in the next 2 years, the roof is going to need recaulked. And oh, your gas. So this is the driver's side. Your gas is under here. When you're filling up, when they're filling you, they're gonna put the connection here and make sure they twist this, and don't let them touch this. You want to leave that right where it's at all the time. There's also a fuel gauge up here, so you can double check your fuel. Driver's side, this is where you put your fuel in. And I would use a diesel I believe it's called Stable product. Let's see if I can find it. I would use that every couple of fill-ups you do. Make sure all your vents are closed and everything's buttoned up before you drive.